What's up, all you pucking psychos? We are back with a bit of a different setup. We have 4 people here. Why? Because we are going to be talking Four Nations Faceoff today. I'm Michael. I'm joined with...
I'm Ryan Curley. I'm Oneonta's resident Islanders fan.
I'm Nolan. I'm Oneonta's resident Bruins fan.
I'm Luke. I'm Oneonta's co-resident Rangers fan, I guess.
I guess so, although I did wear a different jersey so we could have some differences going on. So, Four Nations Faceoffs, that happened. I think the biggest games, of course, the USA-Canada games, which the first game was very good for us Americans, and the second game was not, and we can see that Curley is a bit unhappy with his players here. Would you like to explain why your
So
jersey?
I'm wearing a jersey inside out today. The reason being is there's an anonymous Canadian player that is on this jersey, and I felt if we're going to talk about Team USA a lot today, especially their loss to Team Canada, I shouldn't have a Canadian player proudly on my jersey. Still love him though. It's not his fault. He wasn't even on the team, so it doesn't really make sense. But
Bo Horvat.
it's Bo Horvat.
Not even good enough to be on the team, but we'll cover it. It'll make him feel better. Anyways, so what did you guys think of the game? How did we think that this went?
Jack Hughes sucks.
Yes.
Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Hughes sucks.
I feel like we're putting a lot of blame on Jack Hughes and not Austin Matthews, who didn't cover the best player in hockey in what is essentially the biggest scoring opportunity of the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, well, you watch that play. Jack Hughes is, I don't know who he was on. He's just kind of standing.
Was Jack Hughes on the ice at that point?
Yes, Jack Hughes was on when McDavid scored that goal. Because you saw, he was like in front, but he was not blocking anybody. I don't know. I thought he was supposed to be on McDavid. At least that's what it looked like. I don't know. Was it supposed to be Matthews?
I'm pretty sure it was Matthews. That
Who
was
took the
supposed to be
face-off?
on there.
It should be the centerman.
Matthews.
Matthews took it?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
The defenseman was in the corner.
Well, he
Adam
was
Fox
chasing
was in the
someone.
corner.
Adam Fox.
Yeah,
Adam Fox had a couple questionable
Adam Fox
plays.
was in the corner.
Him and
That
Brock.
whole
Everyone was
line
at
just
fault.
gave up at the most, just the worst time.
The defenseman, supposed to be in front of the goal, is in the corner.
Yeah, the best player in the world is sitting alone in the slot. The puck's gonna go in the net.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who's in net.
Yeah, leaving McDavid wide open is like the biggest mistake ever, and I don't know why or how they managed to do that in overtime in the biggest game of the Four Nations face.
Of many of their careers too.
Yeah.
What has Matthews done so far in his career?
Doesn't he have a heart?
No.
Oh, okay.
60 goals.
That's something.
Yeah,
4
how
goals
many in
his
a
first
Stanley
game.
Cup playoff? Stanley Cup
true.
Finals.
That's true.
Yeah, but that goal scored against Connor Hellbuck. I'm messing up right now.
Hellenbuck?
Hellenbuck. Is there an N in it?
There's no N
But
in
it's
Connor
in it.
Hellebuck's name.
There's no
Okay.
end.
I thought
Hellebuck.
he played great, and he's been playing great the entire season. He has 36 wins this season and only 7 losses for him. He won the Vezina in 2024, and he is a big contender to do it again this season. I thought he played great during these games. What did you guys think?
I mean, when you're playing against what is better than any all-star team we've seen in a while, you're going to see some incredible play, hopefully, out of your goalie, and I think he did the job done for he got the job done for Team USA. And, I mean, yeah, once again, that loss, you can't pin it on him. He brought them to overtime, and just from the get-go, he played great. International tournament, it stinks that he couldn't win it for them, but again, for the Jets, he's just playing amazing right now.
Yeah, he's doing good.
And
Jets are on like an 11-game win streak
He's
right
the
now, I
favorite
believe.
to win the Vezina again, so clearly he's getting the job done for them.
Yeah, he's been doing good, although Canada's goaltender in that game, not the greatest goaltender in the regular season. So far on St. Louis, he has 17 wins and 19 losses this season, and he's a pretty average goaltender. I was looking at his stats earlier. He's had a couple seasons ago, it was 27 wins, 27 losses. He's like dead just like mid, and yet he manages to, one, get the call to be the goaltender for Canada, which is pretty cool, and then 2, manages to actually win it for them, win the championship.
And that tells you how bad Canadian goaltenders are. If he's there and winner go home, Game 7 or finals in Boston, he turns it on.
Apparently, no one better put in TD Garden.
Says the Bruins fan.
Night
That was
2019.
torturous for you.
2019,
But yeah,
Game
I
7.
mean, there really weren't many options for Canada to put in goal. You had Aiden Hill, you had Sam Montembeault. After that,
Logan
you're
Thompson.
extremely limited. Obviously, Logan Thompson went on a run at the beginning of the season, it would have been interesting, I think, if he got the bid, considering he is such a journeyman, where Binnington, also a bit of a journeyman, but having the cup to his name, having previously played very well, it was definitely, he would have been my pick to be the best goaltender. But yeah, of the 4 goaltenders, even just goaltending teams in general, he was he was the starter that I perceived to be the weakest.
So that game was actually, it was very even. The faceoffs it was a fully 50-50 split of what team won between USA and Canada. I think that just shows how good both teams were. When you want to talk good with USA, I think the first people are going to be the Tkachuk brothers. Both of them.
Come on now.
Definitely a force to be reckoned with.
I mean, we got to talk about 3 fights in 9 seconds.
Yeah,
that's
first
something
game,
else.
3 fights in 9 seconds, not able to get anywhere.
It would be impossible to bring that up without talking about probably the shot of the tournament with the 2 Tkachuk brothers dapping up as Brady's going into the penalty box. Matthew's waiting for him.
Change was made. Bennett jumped on the ice, and 3 seconds, 2 fights, and
that was a great shot. That was really cool. And then after that, JT Miller dropped with Colton Parayko.
Yeah.
And that was just heaters throwing back and forth. So that was a very very entertaining start to that game.
Yeah, the Tkachuk brothers were like the biggest part of that team, and you felt it because Matthew had to sit out. Eventually, he got injured, and I think you felt that in the way that the team played, and just that was when you saw them starting to kind of lose steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started losing their big guys. I'm wearing McAvoy's jersey right now. He was a huge presence in the first Canadian game that we won. Matthew as well. Those were 2 big physicality losses that we took, and I think that the outcome could have been very different if we did have him. I think also if we had Quinn Hughes, it could have been very different. It wasn't really best on best hockey without him. Arguably the best defenseman in the game right now.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes would have been great to have in the lineup, but unfortunately he got injured right before it. And then, like I said, the injuries, as much as you want to blame Jack Hughes and Austin Matthews, and it is their fault because they're on the ice for it, there is a little bit on the Tkachuk brothers for doing that, I feel like. And even they should have just sat the game out entirely and had a different player. Because now you have players going extra because I think he knew that he wasn't going to play the entire game. I think Matthew knew coming into that last game he wasn't going to play the entire game, and I think they should have just called someone else because you have all these other all-stars, all these other great players that are waiting, looking for a call to come up.
They benched Kyle Connor. Could have used him.
Yeah.
Best shooter on the team.
I think it's pretty important to point out that we did see some surprises, though, especially because of the injuries. Jake Sanderson being probably my favorite of which, where he played some pretty good hockey in that tournament. He had some really great plays in that game where when people saw him in the starting lineup over Kyle Connor and others, they were a little confused at first, but I think he made it all worth it going out there playing probably some of the best he's played all season and just laying it all down for the U.S.
Yeah, I think USA. I think it was Nelson that was just not playing out. Yeah, I will say I don't think any of the Rangers players truly showed out, other than maybe JT Miller.
Miller, yeah. Trocheck, not so much.
Fine.
Chris
Kreider ran sprints.
He did get us that penalty in the game, too. It was Trocheck for tripping.
I just remember Brock Nelson being inside the net while everyone else was crashing the net, and I didn't really know what was happening there. But yeah, that was a big scoring opportunity that we missed out on.
It was a big player that I noticed a lot. You noticed Jack Hughes a lot, too, because even – we're talking about just that one shot. I think throughout the entire game, he got the puck, it was off his stick immediately.
He got bullied that whole tournament.
Yeah, it would turn over, he'd get taken down, whatever. He was not doing too well. And then we had, I believe, was it McAvoy that had 2 hits on McDavid and 2 hits on McKinnon in that game?
The first game, I believe he had 2 hits on McDavid, and then he had another really big hit on Crosby, where he dumped him into the boards behind the net and then finished the check afterwards while he was on the ice already. McAvoy had a huge presence. You saw Brady Tkachuk. I think a goal was scored after one of them, and Brady Tkachuk was congratulating McAvoy and saying, "The goal started with you. The goal started with you." Yeah, McAvoy, again, big loss to that team.
Yeah. it was surprising how seriously everything was taken, especially with now a lot of injuries that kind of came through. I believe Trocheck had a broken finger they just announced or something.
Yeah, he's banged up.
It was something strange like that.
That's why he dove at his legs. Huh?
Yeah, Kreider got injured during it too. He was playing like he was injured the whole time.
Yeah, there's a lot of players that got injured. But it was a very physical game as well, and people just kind of assume that the USA was just very physical. But when you look, it's actually the hits were 28-25, so it was not as crazy as you think of. Like, I think everyone assumed that the USA was just kind of bullying Canada.
I definitely think that was we have a team that is full of aggressive, kind of like bully players almost. Not enforcers, but very like powerful forwards like the Kachuk brothers. And just people did kind of forget that Canada does have their fair share of hitters on their team. They had Marchand on their team.
Sam Bennett.
They have Sam Bennett on their team. They have Parayko, who is apparently not afraid to drop the gloves with anybody. He drops with Miller.
Miller's not big, but
Drew Doughty is on that team. So you have guys that are not afraid to throw hits on their team too, and I think that was apparent. And it was a very physical game on both sides of the puck. It wasn't just the U.S. Canada definitely. I mean, you can't have a fight without a guy on both teams.
I think it was,
and they were not afraid to go out and
top
throw some
six
hits.
American side is much more physical than the Canadian top
That
six.
I'll
Canadian
agree with.
top six a lot more skilled than their bottom six, and the American top six. The Americans are just physical all the way through.
Yeah, it was a very big game. It was a very even game. As much as I know that we're all upset that USA lost. It was a very close game, very even game all throughout, and
Went to overtime.
yeah, it went to overtime. It was just, I thought it was a very good game. Obviously, unfortunate. I think right at the end, USA really just started to kind of collapse. And that is all the time that we have for right now for today. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to get going now, and we will see you all later. Goodbye.
The waiting is over. The New York Rangers are the Stanley Cup champions. And this one will last a lifetime.